Friends, first of all, I would like to greet Tripod Srinivasan and his team for their excellent contribution in bringing together people. Above all, honoring the good minds, serving minds is indeed a great task. But particularly, I would like to congratulate Tripod Srinivasan for organizing the launch of Golden Jubilee 50th edition inside with the theme of unsung heroes.
A very warm welcome to all our MeTV viewers. Today's program is a very interesting and inspiring one. The whole world revolves around politics and good governance, and we have two dynamic personalities who have envisioned the need to promote positive politics. We're going to discuss about the inception and the great work behind Sansad Ratna Awards, a very prestigious award to felicitate the top performing members of Indian Parliament. We have the founder chairman, Sri K. Srinivasan, and the working president, Srimati Priyadharshni Rahul, in our show. Welcome to our show, Srinivasan sir and Priya.
Thank you. Thank you.
I know we have our 11th edition of the prestigious Sansad Ratna Awards on 20th March in the Constitution Club in Delhi. And I must say thank you so much for being part of the show despite this very busy schedule. I'm quite intrigued on how did the journey of Sansad Ratna Awards begin, and who was the big inspiration behind this?
The main inspiration was Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, former Indian president.
Learning gives creativity. Creativity leads to thinking. Thinking provides knowledge. Knowledge makes you great.
Actually, it happened at the end of 14th Lok Sabha. Lok Sabha is lower house of Indian Parliament. As everybody knows, India is the largest democracy in the world, and it has a huge parliament with 543 members in the Lok Sabha. That is what is called the lower house, elected by the people, and around 250 members in the Rajya Sabha, the House of States, elected by the various state legislatures. The end of the 14th Lok Sabha, presently we are running the 17th Lok Sabha. In 2009, there was a discussion about whether the parliamentarians were functioning well and other things. There was a noise, disruption and other things. At that time, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam and myself, we had a discussion. He was suggesting why not we think of why we all PDI is writing about the bad things or the things which are that is the negative side of the parliament. We have a large number of parliamentarians who have been doing a great job. Why not we identify and celebrate them? That's how it started. We are also running an e-magazine known as Presence from March 2006. We started identifying before the elections were announced. So we started hurriedly, locating who are all the good parliamentarians, what were their performance. At the time we chose 2 or 3 people, and then we had interviewed them and published them in our e-magazine before the elections were announced. That was in March 2009. Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam himself, he gave an interview and he gave what is the role of parliamentarians in India.
Dear friends, as you are aware, India, the largest democracy in the world, is going to elect the members of her 15th Lok Sabha and members of the Legislative Assembly in certain states. Dear friends, it is a great opportunity provided to us to elect the members who will be guiding the destiny of the nation for the next 5 years. The right to vote is a sacred right and onerous responsibility that we owe to the motherland. The dawn of beautiful India is in our mind and then in our deeds. The deed for the day of the election for us is to cast our vote and be a proud contributor to the success of the spirit of democracy of the largest and dynamic democracy of all the democracies. Dear friends, let us all go ahead and exercise our fundamental right to vote and elect the righteous candidate.
That's how the initiative started. From 2010 onwards, when the next Lok Sabha, that is 15th Lok Sabha, started, we decided that we will celebrate them in the open place, and we will invite them, and in the presence of eminent people, we will celebrate them. That's how it started. Now it is the 11th edition of that. First edition was inaugurated over telephone by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam himself. Now the 11th edition we are planning at Delhi on 20th March at prestigious Constitution Club. We are going to give 14 awards, of which 3 is Sansad Maharatna. Sansad Ratna means in equivalent English term is a gem of parliament. Maharatna means super Ratna, super. Yes, for the 16th Lok Sabha, we are giving it for the best outstanding 3 parliamentarians we are honoring, and 11 people from this current Lok Sabha 17 during the 2019-20. Because of the COVID situation, we had to postpone our activities.
Sir, to further expand on this question, I might shoot this to Ms. Priya. So for a democracy like India, so how critical and crucial are politicians?
See, actually, Sukruti, we are very proud of being in the world's largest democratic system. And so you just cannot do away with the political system at all because they have to run the show. And I always have empathy and respect to politicians because they come from various fields and various professions. So unfortunately, we don't have a system in place which will train these politicians to run the entire nation, such a huge nation, and do their administration. But yet, being from different walks of life, from different professions, they sink into the system so very well, and they run the show very effectively. So you just cannot do away with their efficacy, or you cannot just do away with their expertise. But unfortunately, what happens is the larger understanding when it comes to the term politics is not very very impressive. It is a very skewed image when we even coin the term politics. May not be somebody very excited to call themselves as a politician. For the unfortunate definition which the public has been seeing. So it is very essential for us first to understand that the entire country to run without the political system is next to next to impossible. So it's just not going to happen. So it is very essential that you first of all find out these kind of performing parliamentarians or performing legislative assembly representatives, or even right from the Panchayati Raj. The entire system is run by a huge efforts put in together by this political fraternity. So it is important that we respect them, and it is important we recognize them, and it is important we recognize it as a very promising profession.
Very well put, I would say. So in continuation to this, sir, I might ask you this question because you're the first ever to felicitate the top performing MPs of Parliament, and you started this in 2010. So what impact has the awards brought among the MPs?
In fact, it has created the first time when we gave it in 2010. That was a unique thing. Even nowhere in the world the politicians are honored. See, for an example, you have a Nobel Prize, you have so many awards, even you have awards for film persons, we have awards for corporate executives, but nobody in the world honor politicians for their best performance. This is a very unique concept. And when 2010, when we started honoring the outstanding parliamentarian for the first time in the first edition, that too when Dr. Abdul Kalam himself spoke over telephone and telephone from Delhi and inaugurated it, it became a news, national news. Even many of the national newspapers carried it as a news item because it was a unique by itself. Now that gave, as we walked along on this in the journey, every person, every MP whom we are selecting, that selection process is highly transparent. And we are getting the data from PRS India, one of the research organizations in India. and also from the Lok Sabha Secretariat and Rajya Sabha Secretariat. And when we get that and analyze it in a more transparent manner, and the jury committee is the outstanding parliamentarians of previous Lok Sabha or the jury committee members, the more transparent way when we do it, and the MPs used to come and receive the awards at Chennai, because all these 10 years, 9 years we did it at IIT Madras, and 10th year we had it at Raj Bhavan, Governor's Bungalow. Governor himself invited us to do that in Chennai, Raj Bhavan. So the people used to come and receive the award and go back in the next flight. That is the respect they started giving it for this award. Not only that, the people in their constituency also, they look at the MPs with respect, as if they are good performers. This is the most transparent and selected in a non-partisan manner and beyond the party politics. So even I think recently Priya met some of the awardees of the current year, and probably she can share the views of the current year's awardees, how they felt. I think Priya can share some of the first-hand reactions.
Absolutely.
Okay. See, as Sir rightly put in, we've been doing the award function in Chennai all these 10 years. So this year we wanted to do it in Delhi with various requests which we got from the award recipients as well as our well-wishers. So when I and the team, we went to go invite these award winners personally. So the first thing which they appreciated us is being a civil society with no expectation to embrace these kind of outperformed and well-performing parliamentarians is surely not a small thing. And as a civil society, we've been continuing to do this apolitical, neutral, transparent, and with all wishes, non-controversial. So this is one of the most, or if I may say, they find it as the most prestigious award given directly by the people because we represent the civil society. And there are few MPs, whom I wouldn't want to name them personally, who have actually kept a separate space for Sansad Ratna Awards because they take it so much as a pride, because this is an award given exclusively because of their performance. So it is absolutely a feather in their hat, and they take it very personal. And a few of the MPs use this as their election, when they kind of go for their election patrol. So they kind of feel very proud in telling that they're Sansad Ratna awardees. And in fact, they are MPs who have even continued getting their tickets in their political party because they have been a Sansad Ratna awardee, because that's a report card of performance. So this has been a wonderful experience for me to, in fact, hear from the recipients themselves.
I would say it's very unique and interesting as well, because mostly when we say awards, it is about a Star Night Award or different, like say women in leadership. It would be like anything different. But this one for politicians, when we talk about it, it is really like, oh, we've never heard such a thing. So talking about it in the light of awards, normally there'll be like criteria based on which, or I would say parameters, how the performance are being monitored and the awardees are being conferred the title. So how is this process, Priya? What are the parameters to judge the politicians?
Okay, so let me just tell you an overall understanding of how this happens. Then probably Srinivasan sir will be in a better position to give you the technical exposure. Mm-hmm. See, usually the reason why we have high regards to this award is because we have very crystal clear parameters. And very fortunately, the young politicians who drop into the parliament, like who have become young MPs, so they all strive hard to reach up to those parameters so that they can also be one of the award winners. So there are many aspirants who want to be into the Sansad Ratna fraternity themselves. So we look at their performance in their debates, we look up their performance in private members' bill, we look up to their performance to an extent to attendance, and how exactly the parameters, because Srinivasan sir has been an expert in it, so he will be in a position to explain it even better.
Actually, the Indian Parliament or the Commonwealth type of Parliament, it's very unique. They have a very formalized system, all the Commonwealth parliaments. So probably even in Australia, you will have the similar systems there. And Indian Parliament, we get the data updated on a daily basis. They are getting updated on the site, and PRS India also is doing a research on that. There are the parliamentarians when they get elected, they can take up. They have the different roles. One is how they have different tools to participate in the parliament. We always take up only what they do inside the parliament. We are not bothered about what is their work outside. We are not considered, because we don't have it cannot be quantifiable parameters. The quantifiable parameters are their performance within the parliament house itself. They have questions. We have a question hour where the members can put the question and extract as much of reply from the government or from the treasury benches. That is one area. The second is the debates. There are various types of debates are there. And the debates, in the sense, they can participate in the bills, they can participate in the budget, they can participate in the reply to the president, they can participate in the zero hour, they can participate in rule number 377, where they can take up the constituency issues. And we give a preference for the original works that is initiated, that is their what they do for their constituency works and other things. We also take up in the debates category. And then the third one is private member bills. Private member bills is a very unique one. In this type of parliamentary democracy, every member is governed by the rule with their party command only. If the party's policy only they have to follow within the house, they cannot have their own views. Whatever the party says, they have to follow. But beyond that, they may have some very good ideas which the party might not be thinking. So they cannot go to a party for seeking a permission. So for that, there is a provision here in the private members bills on every Friday. And the members can introduce a bill on any subject, even if it is against the policy of their own party. Also, they can introduce. There will be a demand. There will be a discussion for 1.5 hours, and it is only a triggering point. Most of the private member bills may go unnoticed. Some of the important private member bills, the government will say that we will take it as a treasury bill or as a government bill, and we will introduce. We will get a regular act passed. So this private member bill also we give a weightage for that. That is how much they take an initiative. So all these things, attendance is one factor. These are all the things we take into account, and we calculate, and we decide the parameters, the outstanding performers, and then first time MPs under women category. And then we have there are certain people who may not be coming on the top, but they will be doing a lot of qualitative work within the house. We have a discretion for the jury committee also for the qualitative work. And another thing is there are unsung heroes or standing committees. In every parliament, there will be a standing committee. In every Commonwealth parliament, there will be a standing committee. The standing committees go for a lot of discussions, but they are not being heard. They are not being noticed by many of the people. So we have from 2018 onwards, we started giving awards to the standing committees based on their performance and the reports submitted, the subjects taken and all. So the last Lok Sabha, we gave it to Finance Committee. This time on this 11th edition, Agricultural Committee is going to get the award. And this is very unique. And even in India, nobody thought that we will be giving a award to the committees also, because the committee members also, they get recognized. Oh, we are doing a good job, and somebody else. There is a civil society. This is an award by the civil society. So the people are watching. That triggers them a much more motivation. So this is a more transparent process by which anybody can decide how we have selected. We also publish all our data in the open website itself.
So there is a lot of work being done then, like behind the scenes. And sir, like Priya did mention about young politicians really aspiring to achieve and to do well. So on this note, I did read about the NGPL, the Next Gen Political Leaders Initiative. So can you please share more about that initiative and how the youngsters are shaping up into politics and taking it seriously?
Priya is the national president of NGPL, and she is the founder. This is one of the child initiative of Sansad Ratna Awards, because we are having outstanding Indian outstanding parliamentarians we thought that we can siphon off their talents and knowledges to the budding politicians and give them. And I think Priya can give more insight about the NGPL, because she has been working on that NGPL initiative day in and day out.
See, actually, the reason why we started with this initiative, Next Gen Political Leaders, is, as Sir said, we were looking out for extra, outperforming or well-performing member of parliament. Then later we realized that, okay, now we have encouraged one lot of, one set of the political system who is in the field, like who have already got elected. But there are a lot of people who want to get into that place and who are aspiring to get into the system, and they are really directionless. So when we were just discussing on the same front, and how inquisitive is Srinivasan sir. So he came up with this idea of coming up with an organization called Next Gen Political Leaders, where we can take up the good work and understanding and the experience from these extraordinary parliamentarians who have been performing well, and we give training to these youngsters from across political parties and across party lines, for them to first understand what the political system is. And we do workshops, we do webinars. Thanks to COVID, so we started getting virtual. Before COVID, we were doing workshops. We were taking them to field trips. We were taking them to parliaments. We were taking them to MP cotees. We were making them have a closer conversation with the politicians. And now, post-COVID, we started doing a lot of virtual programs. We did a certificate program in which any young politician or a young aspirant first needs to understand when he wants to get into politics. Secondly, once a person is aspiring to get into politics, majorly youngsters these days, unfortunately what happens is they don't have a very straightforward understanding of what politics is and what the political system requires from them. So it is very important for them to understand political ethics. And we did a couple of workshops in this front. In fact, former Supreme Court Judge, Justice A.K. Patnaik, who had been really kind enough to address a session along with the sixth-time MP of Orissa, Sri Bhatrahari Mathab. So we did a webinar making the young politicians understand how important is ethics in politics. So when we actually told about the topic, and the participants' first question is, do we have ethics in politics? So we felt that's the most important thing which has to be addressed. If you have ethics in every profession, I'm sure you should have ethics in politics, which is the most wide and most complex profession. Because, every other profession you have an income, every other profession you have a stability. But when it comes to politics, you neither have stability nor you have income. So it's very important for you to understand and meticulously plan your future if you think to get into politics. And it is just not understanding constitution, it's just not understanding, the state and the center political system, or the entire, the political structure of the country. It is beyond that. If you really want to take politics seriously, what are the other things you have to understand? How will you have to manage your profession? How will you have to take care of your financial commitments? So it is a very comprehensive understanding, and if I could say, it is going to be a very insightful understanding for all young politicians and youngsters who look up to taking politics as one of their careers. So politics can only be one of your careers. It cannot be an exclusive career of yours unless and until you take up a role in the assembly or in the parliament. So if you're not a member in the parliament or in the assembly, so you're only going to be a party man. And you cannot afford to give up your profession and then struggle for the party without any financial stability. So all these things are very, very crucial, which is not being seen. Probably this is not being addressed, and that's the reason corruption is being very vehemently spoken when it comes to politics. So probably if we put these things in place, making these youngsters understand how to settle themselves in the political system, then probably the corruption which is being intervened into the political system will be taken care of.
I should say that it's been a very comprehensive study, and it should have been a lot of hard work put in there, because I've not heard anyone talk about, do something extra other than, like, if you're not sitting there in the parliament, then you don't have source of income and you have to look into other things. So That is amazing insight. Thanks for that, Priya. And I have to ask the next question to both you and to Sir. So, women in politics, how is it shaping up, and how important it is for women to be part of this?
Women in politics, because we had done few webinars with outstanding women who are in the political system, be it in India, across across the globe. See, politics is not a very easy go space for women across the globe, and in India. Yes, it is going to be. It is a little more challenging because we've got much aspirants in the political arena. But Sukruti, very surprisingly, but given a space for these women to perform, or given a space for these women to take up the role, they have done extraordinary work. And I should say, in our calculation, across gender, not with any specification for women, with no gender bias, for the past 2, which means almost continuously 10 years, a women MP is leading. Madam Supriya Sule from Baramati, Maharashtra, she tops the chart, despite of not having any women, specification, or just seeing it on the gender base. So my point is, like, women always look out for opportunities. As everybody know, women is when you are a profession. There's a lot more a woman has to manage than when it comes to a man. You have to manage your family, you have to manage your extended family, your own kids, so that emotional quotient which has to be maintained. So it is very unfortunate that it is being seen that women will not be capable of taking up leadership roles. But trust me, when the leadership role is bestowed on a woman, she does it extraordinarily well, because for 2 reasons. One, she wants to prove she's no less than a man. And second, she wants to prove that she can do it better than a man. So women in politics these days, I'm happy it's coming up, but still we don't have that 33% reservation, unfortunately, when it comes to the higher level of the political system. But still, I feel they are taking out their own space. The families are being a little more open when for a woman to come into politics. And probably if I may say, the taboo for a woman being in politics is slowly getting diluted. So women is finding her own space. She's coming out, she's speaking for herself, probably because women are gradually getting educated more, they are being exposed more, and so they also start getting bigger aspirations. So you really don't have to have a lineage of a very you don't really have to be blue blood to get into politics. So even there are a lot of first-time women MPs who are really doing well, first-time women MLAs who are really doing well, even in the panchayat level. In fact, if you see, there are mayors who are young mayors coming up, women mayors who are really doing well. I think it's we should be very boasting about the situation. Yes, women are there. Yet the representation is very meager when you look into the parliament. But still, wherever the scope is given, they are doing extraordinarily well. They're doing it really well.
In the parliament, in Indian parliament, normally 15% of the total parliament members are women. And I feel it is not such a good strength. Even the political parties have to field more number of interesting women or active women in the fray. They should also come forward. And whomsoever have come, that 15% also, they are doing extraordinarily in our, probably I have been calculating this from 14th Lok Sabha onwards, 14, 15, 16 and 17. All the 4 Lok Sabhas all the data are with me. The women members are doing extraordinarily well. They are able to match. In fact, like Priya said, Supriya Sule from Maharashtra, she has been the topper in even in the 15th Lok Sabha, 16th Lok Sabha also, or in the current Lok Sabha also, she is the topper. She has been giving not under women's category. She is a topper in a overall. So in the whole parliament, she is the topper. That means they are capable of doing it in spite of all the difficulties. The time has to come that more number of women should also take an active role in politics. But there are certain hesitancy among the Indian women for joining politics because for so many reasons. And they have the insecurity problem, this, that. But anyway, through NGPL, we are also trying to encourage more women to contest. Even some of our NGPL members also, women members are contesting in Tamil Nadu elections also. So that type of an exposure is needed. Women should come more into politics and they will have to participate.
Thank you for that, sir. And I should say huge congratulations to Madam Supriya Sule because it's for 10 years, it's not an easy thing. So congratulations, ma'am, if you're watching. And sir, normally, like when we say politics, I would say mostly in TV channels, we have debates where, there are two parties or like politicians representing like different areas. It's more about shouting, debates, and somehow media projects lack of respect, or it is becoming more like, I don't know, maybe to create a high percentage, I don't know what it is, but generally it is more shouting, there is no respect or dignity. So how can we create a political atmosphere that shows mutual respect and dignity to opposite views?
An answer which has to be given with experience, but see, if I could just look into it, I think the mutual respect and dignity just doesn't start with the political arena. I think it has to start from within. I think it has to start in the society. As a practice, I think we are not very open to criticisms and different thoughts. Why talk about debates on the TV, and how many of us do we really gracefully disagree with the difference of opinion? Probably in politics it's being more obvious, and it is being more strong because we in and out focus on them. But when you see the system in place, I think in principle, none of us really have the cool when we really have to agree on the disagreement. So I think it has to start from there. It has to start from home. The nation is built from home is my theory. Maybe I may be a very old school thought, but I believe in it. Whatever you preach and practice at home is what you're going to see outside. So that's one thing. So second thing is, as you rightly said, because in politics, mutual respect is very important, which at times, not very clearly expressed. That's where we talk about ethics. In fact, in UK, there's a lot of efforts and there's a lot of focus given to ethics in politics. You have an ethics committee there. But I think those kind of initiatives first have to be taken. So once the point of ethics steps into politics, a lot of filtration happens. There will be mutual respect. There will be a code of conduct. Though we have one, which is not very effective. Probably giving that kind of a space will first give space for others to be on board. For everybody to be on board. So that will be a platform with no much of discrepancies. And second thing is when it comes to politics, because you're directly dealing with the people and people are looking up to you because you're ruling them, if I may use the word, you're ruling the entire country. So it is even more essential for these people to have that mutual respect, because you are setting the example for the next generation to follow that. And always remember, the next generation is even more energetic and even more, they just multiply in whatever you're showing them as the pathway. So if you're going to show them that you can raise your voice till here, so the next generation is only going to multiply on that. So if you're going to show them that this is the ethical way of doing things, trust me, the next generation will take it to the multiple levels of it. Education is the best example. See, how have our parents been educated? I don't think they've really had much of exposure like what we have today. But with that little exposure of what they had, they trained us and we're doing better in education. So if that can happen here, why can't it happen in the political system? I think the parties should understand that mutual respect is very essential. It is not only for the party, it is about for the human race. This is what you're projecting outside. So probably that's the reason Scandinavian countries have high respect when it comes to world politics, because their way of handling politics is very dignified and it is very conducive. Probably we are very resistant to those kind of experience, because we feel that it is only that verbal politics is what is happening more than the ground reality politics. See, this experience I'm just giving as a youngster who I just get to see from outside, but probably Srinivasan sir can give you from out of his experience and add on to what I'm saying.
think naturally what is happening is when a lady wants to join a politics, she has a fear whether she will be treated correctly. And I think it is a global phenomenon. Even many of the at global level, many women do not like to join the politics. You look at any place, whether it is the US or UK or the European countries or even Asian countries, we see only less number of women politicians, and whomsoever the good women politicians, they rise up to the level, and they teasing them on the internet and other things, because probably they would like to. Some of the people who are brave enough to face the challenges, they come up. So I think it is there is in a male-dominated society like this, it is also equally the responsibility of the society to ensure that the women politicians are given high respect when they are into politics. They are also in a public, they are coming into the public service, public domain to serve the people and to take up the causes of the people. So it is equally the responsibility of the society and also the party leadership, individual party leadership across the globe. They should also give a weightage for the women and give respect to the women, and then only more number of women can join the politics. We need more women in the politics. Like corporates have got a lot of women employees, but the politics is not having that much.
I would say, talking about professional ethics and how to deal, like how to give mutual respect, it's completely a different, say, perspective that we are listening to. And before I end the show, I would like to ask one last question, sir. So, Sir and Priya, so what are the driving forces behind your initiatives, and what are the future plans?
The future plan is now we may have to strengthen. Every year we also learn out of our own experiences. The first edition of Sansad Ratna to 11th edition of Sansad Ratna, I see a lot of changes. The way in which we calculate, the way in which we have also understood the parliament systems and procedures, the way in which the expectations of the public, and everything is undergoing a change. Probably slowly we have also added one by one. This time we have added Rajya Sabha members, and all along we have been doing it for Lok Sabha, that is lower house only. Now from this time onwards we are doing it for Rajya Sabha, that is upper house members also, we are now including it. And because the Indian upper house is having a different system, every 2 years the people will retire. They have a system of 6 years term. Unlike for Lok Sabha, it is 5 years. So we have formulated some scheme, and every time we are also innovating how to add more number of categories and committees, and we will be adding it more. Probably we want to encourage more number of people. We wanted to go for state legislatures also. They are also playing a greater role at state level, the legislatures. MLAs, they are also playing a greater role. We may have to extend it because the data are not properly available, and we are looking out for some data. So we may have to move, and it is only the beginning. 11 years is only a beginning. It is rather we had crossed the teething problem. Now probably we would also like to encourage the other countries like Australia to go in for initiative. I am so happy that your media also is interested in creating an initiative there, and in fact that will be that is on behalf of the civil society when you do that, and the people also will look at it. Oh, there is an area where we can assess the parliamentarians. Even we have done a parliament assessment itself. How we have made a comparative study of, now as I said, it is a 17th Lok Sabha. We have compared the performance of 14th Lok Sabha, 15th Lok Sabha and 16th Lok Sabha overall 5-year term. Also we have compared, and we have given a mark. What is the percentage there, how efficient they were. 14th Lok Sabha, the entire 5 years of operation, the number of questions, number of private member bills, number of disruptions, everything we had calculated. So now we can innovate. Because when you release it to the media, they are also amazed. How is that? We look at it only as a parliament house, as a sightseeing trip, but not like that. This is a very great temple of democracy, we need to assess, we need to trigger them, we have to encourage the good performers.
Yeah. See, actually, if you ask us about our future plans for now, because Sansad Ratna is an annual event, it is majorly to call for people who have performed. So we also wanted to focus on people or encourage people to perform, like motivating them to perform. So in that bracket, we were looking at focusing on an award ceremony on the title of Next Gen Political Leaders, where we look up to young politicians who may be in the system right now, like in power or not. We are looking at the way that we could transparently analyze and do their performance analysis, and then identify them and give them awards. So that will actually motivate them to do better. And as Sansad Ratna Awards has very strongly proved its neutrality. So the same way we would want to put a system in place for NGPL awards as well, which will motivate youngsters to get into the system. And we find more space and more responsibility when it comes to NGPL, because NGPL is an offshoot of Sansad Ratna itself. Because Sansad Ratna is, as I told you, it's an award function. But NGPL is an initiative where you can run with these youngsters or with on the ground and then get some developments to be seen. So we will majorly be focusing on school students, probably majorly 11th and 12th. We will be focusing on the college students, giving them a little more exposure about the political system, giving them a little more exposure about democracy, believing in the system. And we also want to trigger the national spirit in youngsters, which unfortunately, see, we are about 75 years old after independence. So you just cannot forget about the struggles which our forefathers have held for you and me to have a chat today over Zoom. So I think it is very important for us to remember their sacrifice, and we should always remember the roots from where we are. So that's one thing we want to keep the youngsters reminded. So that will give them an insight and a responsibility to stay grounded, the responsibility to stay, and the responsibility to share it to their generation, to the next generation, probably to me, from me to my kids, and from them to their kids. I think that's how you can keep the system intact rather than enforcement. It is about your own inner spirit which has to be triggered. And probably that's what we are trying to do in NGPL, and we've just started it about 3 years now. I think we've got much work to do in that line.
Thank you so much for your insights, and must say we can't thank you enough for your decade-long, great work towards this new yet really most wanted concept. And it's such an honor for MeTV and for me to have both you and Srinivasan sir part of the show. And despite your big prestigious award on 20th March, you're here with us. So thank you so much. And thank you once again for being part of the show.
Thank you very much for MeTV for the great opportunity given to us. So thank you very much.
And please share it with your viewers that we will be going live on DD that day on their DD YouTube channel. So it will be great if viewers of MeTV also take out some time and view us and give us their suggestions if we could incorporate some. And thank you so much, Sukruti. It was wonderful talking to you, and so glad that you chose to hear us. And hope we've done justice to your time. Thank you so much for this experience, and thanks to MeTV.
Thank you once again for being part of this show. And we must say it is such a prestigious event to be part of. And on 20th of March 2021, we have the prestigious Sansad Ratna Awards function in the Constitution Club in Delhi. And MeTV is very happy to telecast this event and be part of this beautiful journey. Thank you once again.